Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Females Thriving Over 30 podcast, take two of the day. We had issues with the microphone, of course. There has to be some tech issues because we're millennials and we have tech issues all the time, but we solve them, and that's perfectly fine. But anyway, today we are recording on the same week that we are uploading. So, whatever we're talking about today is very relevant. And we are going to make an effort to make sure that from season 4 onwards, we do the same. We record and then we upload the same week or the week after. So, at least whatever we are talking and sharing with you is relevant and not like the previous episode that we were talking about things that we're going to do in February and we upload in March. How are you, Jasmine?
I'm good. I'm good now that we've sorted these technical problems. I mean, there's real perks to living in a village. Like I live in a village with no shop and no pub, no nothing, just houses, which is lovely. And just countryside, right down the street, straight onto fields. It's really, really nice, but really not great for doing most of the things that I do, like running a business, doing the podcast. So it's fantastic to disconnect, but I don't want to disconnect. So not fantastic. But we've been chatting. I think I can get fiber optic. So next season I might be looking really crisp. I might be sounding really crisp. But yeah,
Fingers crossed.
other than that, just busy,
Oh,
tired,
yeah.
doing everything.
Yeah, we said, like, what happened a few weekends
Yeah.
ago? Why are you so
So
busy? Tell everybody.
Well, I actually thought at this point I wouldn't be busy anymore, but it turns out like it's just a continuous cycle. Only just not last weekend, the weekend before, I had 3 events in one weekend, which I would not recommend. It was tiring, not a lot of sleep, mainly just because I wanted it to be perfect, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to make sure everything's
Yeah.
perfect. So I had 2 events on International Women's Day, Women's Empowerment Day, and a party in the evening. And then on Sunday we had the very first live grand final of International Miss UK, didn't we?
Woohoo! Yay!
Which is so like still feels surreal. Like it feels more real to me now that I'm the director, now that I've done one and that I'm organising
Mhm.
for the next competition and organising everything for Senna, the winner for this year. So it's all really exciting and it feels a little bit more real now. But the work doesn't stop because as soon as it was
No.
over, I was like, right, next year, what are we doing for the next final? Perhaps this year, end of this year or beginning of next year. So still everything's still going. My brain never stops.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if anybody's listening and wants to be involved as a sponsor or knows of venues or anything like that, that you can just help us with, make sure that you shoot Jasmine a message and just get in touch with her because obviously any help is appreciated because there is thousands of venues out there and obviously we need sponsors
Mm-hmm.
for the pageant and especially for the girl that wins that goes to compete internationally this year. Senna is going to New York. Reach out to Jasmine.
Yes. There is
Oh my
like
god,
I
my
feel
cat is
like there's
crying
so many
outside. She was in
opportunities.
bed sleeping.
Poor cat. I feel like there's so many opportunities for women businesses to get involved with this. I think seeing the
Mhm.
first final where already, I mean, there's some fantastic sponsors, some fantastic prizes for Senna to prepare her for internationals, which is great. But also, it made me realize how impactful it can be. So I really think there's opportunity there for loads of businesses and stuff to get involved and for loads of people to benefit from bringing
Yeah.
everybody together in that way. So I have big plans, really excited. And yeah, absolutely. If anyone thinks it's something you'd like to be involved with, even on a small scale, don't worry if you feel like you can't contribute much. Everything counts. So just pop me a message if there's anything small you could do to support.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm just realizing that my computer battery is like every second that we speak, it goes down 1% of the battery. So I need to run to get my
Okay.
charger, which I don't know what it is, by the way, because I never know what this charger is. So, guys, I'm just going to disappear for a few minutes. While I'm gone, maybe Jasmine, you can tell them all that Senna has won and what
Oh
is the
yes.
plan of internationals, the schedule, and things like that for anybody that wants to enter next year.
Yes. Well, yeah, there's so much going on between now and the international final. So the internationals is in New York during New York Fashion Week, this September, which is so exciting. I can't wait to just be there around the buzz of Fashion Week, and we do get to walk in a show the night before the competition as well, so that'll be incredible. So if you didn't know, I'm the current international Ms. I won the international competition last year, and then I decided to use some of my grant to take on directorship of the UK competition. So I'll be going over to hand over the international crown, and Senna Michelle will be going as the new UK Queen. And also managed to get together an incredible prize package where she's won different jewelry to wear at internationals, or obviously all year round. She's getting her full video shoot with Toby Sims Media for all of the video submissions for internationals, a full studio shoot with that girl with the camera, who'll be doing all lots of lovely headshots and a full portfolio shoot for Senna, as well as coaching with Carol Crown Consulting. She's getting 2 sessions with her. Obviously, guidance from me. She's getting a makeup and hair application by OHEL makeup artist. So loads of stuff. Like I honestly, I was like, I actually wish I could enter my own competition and win again because I want it
Yeah,
all.
right. Yeah, because we both of us, when we did our international, we were like by ourselves, really. We didn't
Hmm.
have any really big sponsors or
Yeah.
much support. So yeah, Senna,
We're
you're
creating
lucky.
good sisterhood here in the UK, and I think it's a little bit different and it's needed. Like I've realised how much people want something like it. I've had so much interest, so I can't wait to just see it keep growing, and we're gonna
Yeah.
keep the legacy alive.
And I'm sure it's gonna grow a lot. So
Hmm.
I'm excited to be part of it, and I'm looking forward to see how big it gets. Yay!
So
Well,
how are you? How are you doing?
I'm good, apart from like forgetting that we were recording today, not having my my charger with me, and so on. I'm good. I'm good. I've been having like bad headaches the past 2 days, but I think it's because the weather keeps changing so much.
Yeah.
Some days it's like, I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be hot, but then it's sunny, but it's cold outside. It was so windy today.
Hmm.
I don't know. The weather
It's
affects
so
me.
back and forth, and it's so upsetting because there's like a bit of sun one day and I can like go out without a jacket and I'm like, wow, like yes, I feel so much better. And then the next day I'm like, oh, we're back to the cold. But at
Mm.
least it's like telling us that summer is coming, and I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to having summer. Yeah.
Oh god, me too, me too. But the thing is, like, the weather really affects me. Like, I've
Hmm.
since I'm very little, whenever I get a like really bad headache, most likely is either I haven't drinking enough water or the weather is changing. So
Hmm.
that's been me the past few days. Not happy, not happy about it. But today we have an interesting episode. I actually wanted to talk about this topic a while back when I saw the headlines in the newspaper of something that we will be talking about later on. But lately, I've been seeing more and more and more things on social media regarding this topic. And I was thinking, maybe we should talk about it. And because people really love every time that we do something millennial, I think that will be a great episode to kind of like break down all of the interviews that we have been having lately.
Hmm.
So I've recently seen on social media in many different social media outlets, many different online newspapers and magazines, the same topic narrated in different ways, but I'm going to read it. This says the millennials, the generation that still thinks they are teenagers. And it's so true.
100%.
I really do believe that I'm in my teens. So, shall I read what it says in here and then we comment?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So this says the image of millennials, which encompasses those born between 1981 and 1996, has evolved in recent years. Many of them, now in their 30s and nearing 40s, yeah, seem to maintain a youthful appearance that has baffled more than once. And I think we've made comments about this many
Hmm.
times, right? This generation, which grew up with emerging technologies and rapid cultural changes, has experienced aging differently than was expected in previous decades. The perception that millennials don't age has sparked a debate that is not only limited to physical appearance, but also to attitudes and behaviors they adopt in their daily lives. Here's what happens to some actors in series and films like I don't know how to pronounce this surname, Nicola Coughlan, who is 37 and plays a 19-year-old character in Bridgerton. From Vogue, they have also dared to open the box of millennial youth, exposing several theories that our image of real adult is outdated, which, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Those most surprised about this phenomenon of seemingly eternal youth are the people who belong to the later generations, such as the Gen Z. YouTuber Jordan Howlett himself, belonging to that generation, doesn't get to explain how many millennials who are up to 10 years older look younger than himself. I look older than my age. Zendaya is older than me and she looks younger. How is that possible? Gen Z just doesn't get it. Many people ask how it's possible for people in their 30s to maintain a youthful appearance while they, in their mid 20s, feel they're aging faster. What do we think about this? I mean, so many truths in here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether I'm just delusional, but I think I look quite young for my age.
Hmm. You
To
do?
be honest, yeah. I don't know, but I don't have any secrets. I don't
Yeah.
really take that good care of myself, to be completely honest with you. So I don't know, but I do find that, especially with me being a lecturer at a uni as well, I
Hmm.
personally don't think there's a huge difference between me and my students. Obviously, some of them are like
Hmm.
18, so there is a difference.
Yeah.
And you can, especially in terms of like style and all of that, you can definitely see a difference. And they do look younger than me, but I don't think I look as significantly older than them as I am, which is strange. I remember like being young and seeing adults and adults looking like old people, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Does my daughter look at me and think I look like an old lady? I don't know.
Who knows?
Who
I mean,
knows? I'll have to ask her.
I've always thought that I looked younger than my age because I was shorter.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh, maybe I'm shorter. I have like genes from like South American stuff. Maybe that it's a little bit different. But then I started looking at people around my age, like my friends and everything, and I'm like, we do look much better than we looked when we were younger.
Hmm.
Plus, we look much younger than people in their 20s. How is that
Hmm.
possible? And then I started looking at the TV shows that we used to watch, right? So I love Friends. Friends is one of my TV shows. And Monica and Rose's parents
Hmm.
were our age in a TV show.
What?
I think like late 30s, I will say. When at the beginning of
Really?
the show, okay, not like
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
end,
yeah.
obviously. And many TV shows are like when you look at the people that they are portrayed in their late, like mid to late
Hmm.
30s, they look way older than we look now.
Hmm. Yeah.
So how are we looking younger? It's just because we believe that we're younger, and then our genes and our skin feels younger. Like what's the secret?
I don't know. You know what? I feel like we need to ask people that are younger whether we do or not. Because I think maybe
Mm,
within our age group, we all think each other looks young, but maybe it's group delusion. Because I think you
maybe.
look really young. I know loads of people that the same age that I think look really young. I definitely think there's some younger people that look older, but I don't know whether it's like
Yeah.
makeup trends. I think maybe some younger people
Fillers.
age themselves with the, yeah, and like tweakments and stuff are really popular now, and girls are getting
Mm,
them from really young. So does that make them look older? You know, like filler,
mm.
like if your face looks fuller, does that make you look older? I don't know.
Yeah, like I literally had like a few examples. Like for example, where are my screenshots that I did? Let me go. But one was Kylie Jenner, right? Where is my screenshot folder? Screenshot folder. Screenshot folders here. So Kylie Jenner
Hmm.
versus Mila Kunis.
Yeah,
You put them together and you're like,
yeah.
she's Kylie Jenner is 27, Mila Kunis is
Hmm.
41.
Yeah.
But Kunis, blah 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 blah, blah, I don't know how to pronounce. Mila Kunis doesn't look 41 when you compare her
No.
to Kylie Jenner, right?
Yeah.
Like Anne Hathaway, she's 42. She looks much
Mhm.
younger, right? Or for example, what's his name? Let me show you here. This guy from
Don't know who it is.
this actor from like the letters that I wrote to boys. What I don't know. I don't remember the name of the movie.
To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Yes,
Is it that guy?
Noah
Uh-huh.
something.
Yeah.
He's 28 versus the kid from Love Actually, who's 33, and the kid from Love Actually, he looks much younger, right?
Yeah, so the guy that was on to All the Boys I Loved Before, he's been on this other program that I've really enjoyed, where he goes in the Secret Service or whatever
Oh
it
yeah, the
is,
night
the female.
the
Yes, and he does seem older. He looks older than
yeah.
I'd say.
So I mean, I think objectively speaking, when you look at the photos, people like millennials look much younger. But why?
Is it because they're growing up faster? Because yes, we had social media, but our social media initially was like MSN and stuff. It wasn't
No.
like as influential in terms of like images
Mhm.
and all of that. Do you think like they've aged quicker and like they are doing beauty, like there's always recommended beauty things and tweakments and
Mhm.
eyebrow tattoos. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not that clued up on all of this, but loads of different things that are good, that are all put out that is like recommended to have. And maybe if they start doing them younger because they feel like they need to, does it actually
Yeah.
make them look older quicker?
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't make them look nice, but does it make them look older because there's a difference in the look rather than like a more natural
But
like
makes
face
sense.
younger. Mm.
What you're saying makes sense because when we were growing up, yeah, you had magazines and everything like that, but people didn't share trade secrets, right? Like, like
Yes.
the makeup artist didn't share exactly how to do your makeup
Mhm.
for stage or anything like that, right? So
Yeah.
all the makeup tricks that we had was like put some mascara. I
Mhm.
didn't know what fake lashes were
Mhm.
until I was way older. We didn't have eyelash extensions or our like nails. It was just a normal manicure.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
fanciest thing was the French manicure, right? That
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
fanciest one of
Still is
all.
for me.
Like, yeah, because we didn't have any, not acrylics, no crazy. It was like
Mhm.
either like a plain color, or if you want to go
Yeah.
fancy, you will go for your French manicure.
Yeah.
And now everybody's sharing their secrets. So I guess like
Mhm.
when you are now 14, if you start following the secrets from Mario that does makeup on
Mhm.
Kim Kardashian,
Yeah.
you start doing your makeup like that, which makes you look older, I guess, right?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. That's the only explanation I can think. And then like feeling the need to like from now, I mean, I can't remember where I saw this or when like all the different tweakments and stuff that people can have began. But I think it's not been around that long to
Hmm.
know fully what happened. I've seen things about like it migrating around your face and stuff.
Oh my God.
Again, it's not something I'm in like that I know a lot about, but it makes you wonder, especially like I feel like I've definitely seen a lot of things where people say that people that provide some people that provide treatments will say, oh, you need to do it earlier, preventative or whatever, because of
Uh,
course that brings them more customers and stuff. Whereas in the reality, you can't really prevent. It's not preventative. You don't
mhm.
need it at that kind of young age. So yeah, it makes you wonder whether there's things like having things like that early on, what effect that has as well.
Yeah, yeah, because you're totally right, right? There is now this thing called like when we were growing up, we had silicone, but it was mostly for like your boobs and stuff.
Hmm.
Some people
Yeah,
start
that was
putting
all
silicone
the
on their
that was
lips, but then we start having like Botox was kind of like the next
mhm.
thing, but it was obviously for
Yeah,
people that were like more past their
yeah,
45, more like
yeah.
around that, like in
Hmm.
their 50s and so on. Then it started getting like more people start getting younger. Now there is this other thing called baby Botox, which is
Hmm.
kind of like
Yeah.
that preventive Botox that you put
Yes.
on. But if
Yeah.
you don't have lines, yeah, what are you preventing? It's just a way to kind of like trap
Yeah.
you in having to do it every year.
Yeah. And then what effect, I don't know, but does it have a negative effect if you have it when you don't need it? I don't know what the answer to that
And I mean,
question
I
is.
think actually Molly May might have been a really good example of that, right?
Yeah.
Because she looks, I love how she looks now, like very
Yeah.
natural, very young. But when you compare her to when she was in Love Island,
Yeah,
she
she looked
looked way
older.
older,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so scared of doing anything to my face because I feel like if it goes wrong, then I cannot cover it,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
feel the same. And I think like I don't know whether when we were growing up because we couldn't see as much online.
Hmm.
And I don't know whether more different types of beauty was represented. I know there were issues with discussions about weight and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously there was a lot
Yeah.
of issues when we were kids that weren't a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
influence whatsoever.
Yes.
However, I don't recall there being like just one ideal beauty. I almost feel like beauty was slightly more diverse, and I don't know, I don't remember when I was young thinking there was only one certain type of woman that looked beautiful or a certain type of face or
Hmm.
anything. Whereas I don't know whether now that, there's like the Instagram face where it's like a lot of celebrities have started looking quite similar because they're all getting
Yeah.
the same sort of procedures to give
Yeah.
them the same kind of face. So I don't know
Hmm.
whether maybe I don't know, are we a bit more accepting of our faces because it wasn't like personally, I'm okay with not looking the ideal.
Yeah.
I'd rather look like me. But I don't know whether that was because of when I grew up. I don't know whether there's a shift in the generations because that's what they're fed constantly on social media from a young age.
I don't know. But I mean, you're right. Like now everybody has the same lips, the same
Hmm.
jaw, the same cheekbones. Yeah, everything is kind of like the same because everybody is able to do these treatments. So it's more accessible for people to learn how to do these
Yeah.
treatments, which
Hmm.
means people have more access to places nearby to get them done.
Yeah.
You didn't have to travel far. So
Yeah,
obviously
that's
like
true.
it didn't put you off like, oh yeah, I want to get,
Yeah.
but oh I don't really want to travel all that way to get it done.
Yeah.
And then also like the bodies as well, right? Everybody was having a BBL not
Yeah.
long ago, and everybody was
Yeah.
having exactly the same body. Yeah, I mean, I think what you said makes sense because when we were growing up, I think the main thing was just our body. Everybody needed to be like a stick,
Hmm.
right? Everybody needs to be
Yeah.
like as thin
Yeah.
as possible. But in terms of face, yeah, there was just like whatever you saw in magazines. And it was not something that was like a constant reminder every day. You see that person posting photos and photos and
Yeah.
photos
Yeah.
all the time, which is what we were talking about before, right? Social media and how much that is impacting every single aspect of our lives and especially the new generation right
Yeah.
now. Who knows what the standard of beauty, what would it be when Mila is a
Yeah. Oh,
teenager?
yeah. Scary.
Who
I was
knows?
just thinking then, like, say we'd watch Saturday night TV, right, when we were younger. Like, you'd watch what was on the telly, and you
Mm-hmm.
had programs like X Factor was really popular for years when we were younger, and that was all like normal people, normal
Mm-hmm.
looking people. Like, you saw people that looked all different ways. Even people you look back at, like the people who got through to judges' houses, and even on stage the way that they'd do their makeup and it wasn't as perfected as everything is now. It was
Yeah.
very much like you saw people with very individual traits and you didn't really think much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I feel like a lot of people want to feel like if they want to get far in life, like if they want to be an influencer, they have to
Mm-hmm. Oh
look
yeah.
like perfect. I think it's almost like it's opened up so much competition because you can literally there's
Mm-hmm.
women from all over the world posting on social media that people feel like they're competing with all of the most beautiful women in the world
Yeah.
in their opinion, because at the end of the day there's not one version of beautiful. Like everyone thinks different people are beautiful, which
Mhm.
is the nice part of it. But
Yeah.
almost like I feel like people feel like they need to look perfect now
Yeah.
more so than
Yeah.
we ever did.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's true. Yeah. I mean, I still think it has to do a little bit with us wanting to be like Peter Pan and never grow up, right? We just want to be
Oh yeah,
stuck.
well, I absolutely feel like young. I've
Yeah.
always said to people, every like life, every big life event, I've always felt like, oh, okay, after this, I'm gonna feel like a grown
Hmm.
up, like an adult or whatever. It's never happened. I've never ever had that moment. Like sometimes I'm literally with Mina and I think like, who left me in charge here? Like I always feel like I'm a sister. Do you know? It's like
You're the
obviously I'm
nanny.
capable of looking after her, but it's just like yeah, I've never felt how I thought my parents were. My
Hmm.
perception of my parents, I've never felt like I'm as old as them
Yeah.
like as they were when they were when I was young. But then I don't know whether that's like lifestyle, like
Yeah. I was
we
literally gonna
don't
go
do the
there
same things. Yeah.
because I was literally gonna go there when you said like I don't feel like I thought my parents felt, you know. I'm like,
Yeah.
do you think maybe it's because our economy is so bad in general, like where we are right now, we're not able to maybe afford the things that they were able to afford, or because like like now we live in a very the consumerism society is a little bit different. We don't really have that much disposable income than maybe our parents did, and we feel like we're in our teens when we had like no money. The only thing that we do is just like go out and eat with our friends or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that, however, my parents didn't have much
Yeah.
income. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that would definitely will be a case with some people 100% because when you think like when our parents were able to like buy houses, the
Mm-hmm.
price
Yeah.
of houses were then compared to now and all of that kind of thing, like 100% that must affect it. But also like lifestyle. I feel like my parents were in the generation where it's like you get to a certain age, you get a job, like a normal job, and you have children or whatever, and you get married and that's
Mm-hmm.
it, and then you just do the day-to-day
Yeah.
things. I think there's like a real fight against that with our generation, where it's like we refuse to just do, especially within the circles that I'm surrounded by. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's just because of the people that I'm around, but I think there's a push against that, where it's like we don't want to just settle
Mm-hmm.
for just that. We want to be able to travel more, like,
Yeah.
and this just might be my experience because my parents
Yeah.
were, I was from a lower income background, so we went on holidays when I was a little bit older, like into my teens, but my parents didn't really travel. They did very just like average jobs. So it's not like they were traveling with work and or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was a very just like very normal day to day life.
Mhm.
Whereas I could never picture myself doing that. I feel
Yeah.
like I need to be doing other
Yeah, I mean it's
things.
true, like we have like more access to travel
Mhm,
than our parents did.
mhm.
We can just hop into somewhere in Europe for like £50
Yeah,
if we wanted to for a weekend.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, lifestyle as well. Yeah, I would say, yeah, lifestyle. Do you think our generation is a smoker generation, or were they like the ones before and the ones after, and maybe that also makes a difference in our
That's
skin,
smoking.
Yeah.
My husband smokes. My husband smoked since he was like probably in primary school.
Yeah, remember he was the bad boy. I
But
remember.
I, I mean, he doesn't want. He just want to stop at some point, and he will stop at some point. He has stopped for periods of time in the past. But so we were definitely in that generation. Using him as an example. However,
Mhm.
I've never smoked. I
Yeah.
think I like tried it once when I was a teenager, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cool," and I was like, "Don't want that again." So yeah, not it was never for me. But I think I don't know, it's probably a mix in our generation.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's
Yeah.
more of we're more in the generation where it wasn't as popular because we're also in the generation when the ban came in
Yeah.
to stop smoking in public places and all of that. So even if people smoked
Mhm.
when they were young, that might have deterred people, or people might have stopped because of that
Yeah.
reason. So there's probably been less smoking for our generation.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like now the vaping is a big thing and I see everybody
Yeah,
vaping. I was like, maybe that also influence. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, I saw as well, like this is the one that I wanted to do an episode a while back.
Hmm.
This story about this man. So I'm just gonna read this to you to see. So we ourselves, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's my millennial as well because he's 46. But anyway, we are the generation that never ages, kind of like the fountain of youth of whatever. But it just gets to a point that some people don't really want to be younger forever, right? So this is like Brian Johnson, who is a 46-year-old millionaire and is following a very interesting reju- reju- ah, therapy to be younger.
Oh,
Say
okay.
this, okay? Because he wants to be 18 again, or like feel like he when he was 18 again, right?
Hmm.
So he has a very very strict diet, but he also does multi-generation blood transfusions. Okay, what does this mean? That he exchanges blood with his 17-year-old son and he gives his blood to his 71-year-old dad. Okay. So apparently, what this does is make that him as well as his dad stop aging as fast. Supposed to stop a little bit the aging process. So apparently, he has started a movement against death called Don't Die, and he's trying to invite other famous people to participate with him. And I believe he was in the latest episode that I watched of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So I'm just literally gonna Google it now because now I'm seeing these photos and I'm like, I don't know this man. And now when I went to the last photo, I'm like, isn't this guy that was weird and looked like a vampire in Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Kardashians started doing this thing that he's promoting, so it's probably not that out of the box.
Let's see. Yes, he's the guy.
This
He's the
sounds
guy that was in
terrifying.
in an episode of the new Keeping Up with the Kardashians. He is the one that was creeping me out.
Well, this sounds
He looks like a
terrifying just
vampire.
all around. What vampire stuff is this?
Well, there is blood in there. No idea. But apparently, like he was saying things. What was he saying? That he doesn't eat after 12, so he only eats between like 10 and 12 or something like that. And so many weird things. So
Does he look young? Does he
he
look
looks
18?
young. Yeah, yeah, he does. Let me show you a photo. He does look
How
young.
old is he?
In I don't know. Oh, let me see.
Probably doesn't want anybody to know.
No, I mean, I guess he wants people to know because he wants more people in his don't die culture. 47 years. He's 47 years old. Let's see if this. Can you please?
Oh, he does look young, to be
Yeah, he
fair.
doesn't look. He doesn't look
Not
47.
18, but not 47.
Yeah, he doesn't look 47. No 18. Yeah, that's true. Not 18, but not 47.
So, is there any scientific backing to his claims that by having younger blood in your body it does anything to you?
I don't know. I guess like the blood cells. I have no idea because it doesn't say either how often does he do it.
Can you imagine as well, just like saying to your child, like, you have to come in and get all this blood removed every
Every
so
week.
often for me to be young? Yeah,
And
what is that all about?
is he taking the youthfulness out of his son? And then he's gonna be like a little like wrinkle
Yeah.
thing, like
So he's taking the blood. He's taking the blood from his son, putting it in him, and he's taking his blood and putting it in his dad. Who's giving his son the blood back?
yeah, no one. Poor son.
No one.
He's just a fountain.
What does he get out of this arrangement? This is what I don't understand. What is the son getting out of the arrangement?
Zero, clearly.
I
He's
thought
he,
when you were telling me that you were going to say they take the son's blood and put it in the man, the 47-year-old, and then they take his blood and put it in his dad, and they take the dad's blood and put it in the
him
son,
to 17-year-old.
the 70-year-old into 17-year-old. I was like, what? You sickos! Why would you do that to him?
No, no, they didn't go that. They didn't go there. But
But
it's
that I'd be
interesting.
interested in.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we won't go those lengths, you know. I already thought that that treatment that removes your blood and then injects it back into your skin to do some kind of thing was really weird.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know
I don't
about
really
that.
want to be exchanging blood with anybody.
I think as well, this might maybe this is a thing. Because we were because we were brought up in the generation that it wasn't as like normalized, or it wasn't as easy to get tweakments or anything like that. I'm
Hmm.
terrified of needles or any like anything evasive like that. Like if someone told me they needed to take my blood out and put it in my face, I'd be too scared. Even if like it was fantastic results, like, I'd actually be too
Yeah.
scared to do it. So maybe like I guess if you grow up and it's more you know people that do it, it's more normal. Maybe you're not as scared of things like that. But I'm scared of anything like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I'm like squeamish.
I don't know. I won't be doing that anytime soon. I know that. I just wanted to mention it because I found it very interesting and I saw this last year when I screenshot it. And now I just remember like watching that in Keeping Up with the Kardashians and saying like this guy is odd. This is very weird. And now just realizing it's the same man.
What was he doing on Keeping Up with the Kardashians? Was he in his role,
So
his official role?
no, no, no. So last season,
Mm.
Kim, Chloe, and Chris, they did some kind of like metabolic test or something like that to see what their
Right,
metabolic age was, right?
right.
And they like Kim got really into it now, seeing that she was younger than her real age metabolic. So she was like, "Oh, I want to be even younger. I want to get younger."
Right.
And I guess she ran through this guy. You know, this guy has been trying to recruit all these millionaires in his Don't
Mm,
Die cult or whatever.
mm,
Um, so then he was like, "Okay, we're gonna go and we're gonna have lunch at his house, and we're
mhm.
just gonna see how he lives and all of that and see what we can do to be younger." And
Right.
basically that's basically they just go, oh yeah, oh I know why I was so this guy is so creepy. One of the things that he says like, oh, I feel so young that I just have like erections in the middle of the night like a 17-year-old or whatever. And then you can see every like the Kardashians are like, what? I was like, this is too much information. I don't think I needed to know any of this.
So what
But
I
it's
want to
like
know
very
is
awkward.
why is her um it's like her metabolism then is younger than her age. Why is that,
Yeah,
and how do you get younger? I want to know more about this.
with the
What was
transfusions,
it?
just get your 17. That's why he said like as a 17-year old because that's the blood that
Yeah.
he's getting into his system, I guess.
It
I don't know.
seems it's just all
Very
the
odd. Very odd. Very odd. In any case, we're going to be moving on to something that is a bit more upsetting for me. And upsetting in the sense of like this is women commenting on women. Okay. So
hmm
we're already talking about like millennials looking younger, other generations looking older. And then we had two side of the spectrum now of women. We have Pam Anderson on one side and Millie
hmm
Bobby Brown on the other. Very different, like a huge age gap in between them, very
Yeah,
different generations. And we have Pamela Anderson starting to go to red carpets with no makeup on,
yeah.
right? And then we
hmm
have Millie Bobby Brown now, obviously growing up. She's like a young adult now. She's wearing
hmm
her makeup and dresses and stuff. And these are the comments that women
hmm
are leaving on their photos or their videos, right? So we have this photo of Pam Anderson, which I think is so brave for her to go without makeup, right?
hmm
And I think she's aged beautifully. And the comments go as I'd like to see her with a little bit of makeup on the red carpet, though. Is that she shouldn't go without makeup. She looks 80. I understand what she's trying to do, but she's 57. Why does she look 80? Not a look I would recommend to any woman. Natural beauty is great, but we all need a little bit of enhancement. Okay. Those are the comments of women that are living on Pamela Anderson photos and videos of her going with no makeup on the red carpet. And it's like, why are we attacking a woman that is trying to age gracefully So we don't allow people to look older
Mm.
or look their age, right? Everybody needs to wear
Yeah.
makeup to look younger.
Yeah. The thing is, you just can't win because if she'd have gone like absolutely caked in it, or in a dress that was like young for her age, they'd have all just said it's all that like mutton dressed as lamb thing, isn't it? And they'd have
Mm-hmm.
all said, "Oh, she's trying to look so young. She's not embracing her age." It would just, I feel like with some people you will just never ever win. And also saying like somebody looks old for 57. This is like what we're talking about with like, people looking younger for longer and all of that because
Mm-hmm.
all of my grandparents died in their 60s. So, and
Yeah.
I remember them looking really old. Like, so I think, and it was early 60s. Like, my grandma must have been about 60 around the time that I kind of have seen pictures of her and everything. And she like had the perm, she had a silver perm. She
Mm-hmm.
looked really old, like at
Yeah.
that age. So why Pamela looks way younger, can I say? Because I've seen these pictures
Yeah.
than my grandma did in her like early 60s. And you just think like, why is there an expectation now that you're not allowed to look old at that age? Not that I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying 50s is really old. It's not
Yeah.
really old to be in your 50s, especially now. Like, and people all age differently. So
Yeah.
my grandma had a hard life, so other people don't necessarily look old at that
Mm-hmm.
age as much. But yeah, like why is that? Why is it not acceptable to look old? Like
I don't
it's
know.
very
It's just like,
strange.
yeah. Yeah, it's exactly. We're not allowed to look old. But then on the other side, then we have the comments on Millie Bobby Brown's latest red carpet look at the Oscars. That makeup and hair age her badly. Or she needs to stop doing things to herself. She was so naturally gorgeous. And I wish she has just rock up natural and comfortable. So,
This is what I mean. Yeah, you can't win, can you? I mean, the thing is, obviously earlier I said about tweakments and stuff, but I'm all for people doing it if that's what they want to do. Like I
mhm,
100% believe in like you live for yourself and you do whatever you want to do to feel good about yourself. And I would never judge anybody for any of those decisions. And I think it's so important that we can all do what feels good for us, as
mhm,
long as it's coming from a good place and that
yeah,
people are loving themselves. I think it's really important that people do like
mhm,
learn to love themselves. But yeah, like if somebody wants to do anything, if she wants to wear makeup, if she wants to do change anything about herself, that is well within her right, and it's not for anybody else to comment on. And why do people
yeah.
care? How does that affect anybody? This is the bit I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, I know that she, like Millie Bobby Brown, went online and started like saying like all of these comments and all of these articles that came out after her appearance on the Oscar were a little bit shameful because it seems like people is not accepting that she's aging, that she's
Yeah.
not her character at the Stranger Things. She's not 11 anymore.
Hmm.
She's 22 or 23. I don't know how old is
Hmm.
she. I think around that age.
Yeah.
Why cannot she wear makeup? Why cannot she change her hair? Why cannot she wear more fitting clothes if she wants to, right? And then
Yeah.
on the other hand, then we have Pamela Anderson that doesn't want to wear any makeup because she's tired of having done that for so many years. And now it's like, you should
Yeah.
wear makeup. But then now someone younger wearing makeup is like, you shouldn't wear makeup. So can you please let us know what are the rules?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cannot age. We cannot age. And if we age, we get called on. And if we let ourselves age gracefully, we get called on for not looking younger. I mean, we're
I
a
think
safe generation because we're young anyway, so we're good.
we're not even gonna, we're never going to change, not even a little bit.
We're always going to be like this.
But I feel like I think it's people changing in general. People don't like other people changing in general. I think this goes
Mhm.
beyond even like appearance and aging. It's like if you want to change, or like people say, "Oh, you've changed," is a bad thing. Like people say it to be
Yeah.
to in a meaning a bad thing. Like you've changed. Like we all are supposed to change. Like we're all supposed to change. We're all supposed to evolve. It would be I would be worried if somebody was the exact same their whole life. Like that is not what is supposed to happen. Like we should all be
Mhm.
learning and growing and following new paths and
Yeah.
following our dreams and all of that stuff. And that goes for like appearance as well. Like if I want to wear makeup all the time for a few months and be really glam all of the time, that's fine. If I then decide I'm going on like a health kick and bare face and I'm gonna just do yoga and wear no makeup for a couple of months, that's
Hmm.
also fine. Whatever I feel is right for me in that moment, and only we should be able to decide that for
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
So why can't people just let people live?
I just feel like now people feel very entitled to other
Hmm.
people's lives
Hmm.
and entitled to comment, and it's a little bit sad. I mean, truth is that there is always been like gossips, and people like to talk. I mean, I'm the first one that likes some tea. Don't get me wrong. Give me some tea and some drama. I don't want to be part of the drama, but I like to talk about the drama. Just as like making comments publicly.
Yeah,
It's just like if it's not nothing nice to say about the person and lifting that person up, why do you even leave a comment?
yeah.
I don't know.
And I feel like a lot of people use the excuse of like, if you put yourself online, then you are open, like you are accepting, like you are welcoming comments by posting yourself online. But that is just not the world we live in anymore. Like
Mm.
everybody is online and
That's the
everybody
excuse that
uses,
people put to
yeah,
comment.
everybody uses social media and stuff for all different reasons. Like
Hmm.
people's businesses depend on them being present on social media
Yeah.
and posting. Like it does so much for so many people that just because somebody decides to post themselves online, it shouldn't be that, oh well, you decided to post yourself online, so we're allowed to
Hmm.
say whatever we want, because that's just not the case and it isn't fair.
Yeah.
And I think it's about time we started treating it the same as we would to somebody, of how you would, like there's a lot of people that say things that they wouldn't actually say to somebody's face in a normal social
Yes.
situation, and there is no difference between, if you wouldn't say it in a social situation in front of other people or to that person's face, then you shouldn't be posting it online. It should be exactly the same social rules.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And when we're talking about comments, I have another two examples that I want to run by you to see what you think. So recently, we have had two famous women having children, right? One of them is Margot Robbie, and the other one is Lily Collins. So Margot Robbie got pregnant, she carried her baby, and she had a baby. And Lily Collins used a surrogate, right? We don't know the reasons why people sometimes need to use surrogates, so whatever. So the comments on Margot Robbie are: her body is ruined. F her husband for messing that up. I will never let my girl get that big when she gets pregnant. All about like, oh my god, she looks like, I don't know, like an ogre. She looks terrible because she's pregnant and she gained weight. And then on the other side, we have Lily Collins that used a surrogate. Oh, they don't want her to gain weight. It's a no brainer why they choose surrogacy. They all just didn't want to ruin their size zero bodies. Oh, they don't want to get fat. Just like Paris Hilton didn't want to damage her body, so paid someone else to damage theirs. So if you get pregnant and get big, bad. If you use a surrogate that we don't know exactly the reasons why she had to go that route, bad as well. So anything you do is bad. That's the
Can I
moral of the
just
story.
Can I just say, like, when I was pregnant, like, I was just barely recognizable. Like, I looked so different. Um, Obviously, I had gestational diabetes, so I don't know whether that impacted me gaining weight as well. But yeah, I absolutely didn't even look like myself whatsoever. I remember after, when I'd lost a bit of weight, I looked in the mirror and I thought I looked like gaunt, and I was just normal.
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh my god, like, oh, who is this? Like, this isn't what I look like, because my face had
Yeah.
been so swollen, and I'd looked so different. But like, isn't it like what we lose sight of is just like we're all just like we're just animals, right? Like I don't know, like I feel like people get so obsessed with how people look and everything, and it's just like it's just the least important thing. Like how we look is just so not important whatsoever. Like don't get me wrong, I
Hmm.
100% agree with taking care of yourself and looking and feeling confident in yourself the best you can, but it's just not the most important thing about
No,
us, like at all.
no.
And there's so
No.
many other things like that. Both of those women were going through things, whatever the circumstances was for both of those situations,
Mm-hmm.
and that whatever those big life events for both of them, with whatever the reasons were why they used a
Mm.
surrogate and all of that is just so much bigger and so much more important than how people look. Like, why is that what they're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. But then we also have the other example with Selena Gomez
Mhm.
and comments very different according to the way that she looks. So we have when she was a little bit bigger, we know that Selena Gomez had lupus and she had
Mhm.
autoimmune disease. So sometimes obviously her metabolism obviously is not working the same way as someone that is completely 100% healthy, right? So the comments that she got in photos in 2024 were really, not to be mean, but it's time for Ozempic, girl. I remember when she used to be hot. Oh wow, she's big, big, big. She's an absolute unit. 2024, right? 2025, the Oscars, no, the Screen Actors Guild Awards.
Where
She
she's in
showed
a
up and
black
then she's
dress.
lost. She's lost quite a lot of weight. Now the comments. Oh wow, she caved in and got on Ozempic. I see. She looked better when she was thick. Skinnier isn't pretty, and here's the proof. Keep your curves. Award season Ozempic 24 milligrams. Pathetic. She was away a couple of weeks ago, so this is magic. What the hell?
Like, I've seen the pictures of her both times, and I genuinely think she looks beautiful regardless.
Yeah.
Like, to me, she doesn't even look significantly different. And
Mm-mm.
I know, like, people will probably think I'm just saying this, but genuinely, it's not something I notice about people.
Yeah.
Like, when I meet people, I don't actually notice. Yeah, she looks gorgeous. Both, I just don't think there's that
Yeah.
big a difference in how she looks. I think she's beautiful both ways, and I genuinely don't notice people's bodies, and I really don't think about that or look at that when I meet people or when I'm around people, because it's so, like, when you think of dress sizes and stuff as well, it's such a small difference. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to look at people and identify their dress size just by looking at them, because all of our body types and everything is so different, different heights, different, like,
And the
curves.
same size looks very different in different designers as well. Like a size
Yeah,
10 is different in one brand and in another, and it
yeah.
looks very different. So you cannot really tell sizes by just looking at someone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just one of those situations where from those comments you can see, like, she can't win either way, which is why it's just so important that women just do one, like, learn to love themselves as much as they can, which is obviously it's not always easy. But I
Hmm.
think we have to learn to accept and love ourselves the best we can, and also just do what feels right and never what you think other people want to see, because clearly people all think different things are beautiful, because some people are saying she looked better before, some people are saying she looks better now. So
Yeah.
like, you're never going to please everyone.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that bothers me the most is women making these comments.
Yeah,
No? Like, why are we, like, aren't we supposed to lift each other up and support each other, not like tear each other down? Like, why are we making those comments and why they are so different? Like, why no one is happy with the way that other people look? I mean, you shouldn't be the one happy about it. As long as the person is, that's all it
yeah,
matters.
yeah. I think sadly, like, for a long time, society's just, like, pitted women against each other. And I think some women think that we can't all shine at the same time, which is just not
Mhm.
true. But I think
Yeah.
sometimes people think, like, if someone else is having their moment, that takes away from theirs, which isn't
Mm,
the truth. But I feel like we're almost,
yeah.
like, a lot of society does condition women that way a little bit. And sadly, some women probably do feel that way, which is just not true at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
we can all be, like, main characters.
Yeah. I mean, they're pitting us against each other so we don't dominate. Because if we
Yeah.
were all really lifting each other up, the world will be very different.
Yeah. You know what? What did I see? I'm sure there was something that I've seen before, read before about like all the things we're told to care about are distractions. Like kind
Yeah,
of like what you've just said, like all the things that women are conditioned to care about are there to distract us so that we don't have the capacity to like be able to think about bigger things that could actually like
like world
make a difference.
domination.
Yeah, because we could, let's be
We
honest.
could.
Like
Clearly,
this.
there will be so many people that we will be like, you're not in charge, you're not in charge, you're not in charge. We will be, but they don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want that. They just want us to be there and just consume and just buy stuff and let them do whatever they want to
Yeah.
do. That's why.
Yeah. And
That
that's
that
why
what
we
you
need
just said, like, it
all
makes so much
women.
sense.
Yeah, and we need all women to stop feeding into it. Don't listen to it. Don't engage with it. Um, like that's the only way that we will really make a difference. And the thing is, as much as there are women that might like write those comments and feel that
Hmm.
way, like first of all, maybe it's not coming from a bad place. I hope that it's not coming from a bad place. Maybe they just don't know any different. And you know,
You have so much faith, Jasmine. I don't have that much
well,
faith.
I would like to think, I would hope, or I would hope that if it is coming from a bad place, I hope that they heal whatever it is inside them that's making them feel like they have to say those things or act that way. But I think, yeah, we should all just, even just thinking to the International Women's Day empowerment event, like just the
Hmm.
being around loads of women that actually want to share stories and share knowledge and skills and help each other and support each other. Like it is a magical thing. And I
Hmm.
certainly like as I've got older, the more I realize that by coming together with other people, we can make the biggest impact and we can make the
Yeah.
biggest difference. And you don't have to do everything on your own, which I think sometimes people feel like they have to try and do everything on their own.
Yes.
So it is a powerful thing. And I just hope that, yeah, over time, more and more women feel like they want to be a part of things like that and support others.
Yeah. I mean, what we've learned from today's episode is that millennials, we're never going to die. We're always going to be young forever, looking fabulous.
You're not having my blood. I'm a bit younger than you, so don't be getting any
Oh,
ideas.
yeah, give me some, give me some. Or when we die, we're just going to look exactly the same as we do now. We're going to look very, very young. And that there is nothing that we can do to make sure that everyone likes what they see on ourselves because they're very polarizing comments. No one is ever happy with the way that anybody looks. So don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Delete the bad comments from your social media, or just, if you're afraid of what they're going to say, just don't allow comments on your post and you will be happy.
I make a conscious effort every day to like look up like to say positive things about myself, and it's more for Mila's benefit than obviously it is for mine.
Hmm.
But I never want her to hear me say negative things about myself, and I'll always say to her, "Oh, doesn't mommy look nice today?" Or, "Oh, I love myself. Do you love yourself?" And she'll say, "Yeah, I love myself." And I think from observing her, like she really does, like, and so she should. She looks at herself in the mirror and she's like, put her face to her. She thinks she
Hmm.
looks fabulous. She tells me she's so clever. All those things, like, and where do we lose that? It's so sad that as women,
Yeah.
especially, I feel like we lose that over time,
Hmm.
and like we should all just tap back into that.
I agree. I agree. I think
Yeah,
I'm going to start doing that as well. Talking to myself out loud and to my cats. Don't I look great?
yeah.
Moflete will answer because he always answers anything I said. He always says like, "Ah." So I'll get like, yeah, girl.
I think the thing that we all have to remember is that just because we think it doesn't mean it's true, and we all have thoughts. We all have
Hmm.
lots of thoughts all day, every day, and they're not
Yeah.
just because you think it doesn't mean it's true. It's not like we all have negative thoughts. We all have like I think really random, bizarre thoughts sometimes.
Yeah.
They're not significant. You they are not necessarily true. So it's important that we like realize that just because we think it doesn't mean it's true. So if we think something negative about ourselves, we can choose to ignore our own thoughts and to say something new about ourselves, just like we can if somebody else has something negative to say about us as well.
I like that. Yeah, let's make that a thing for this year and moving forward. Yeah.
Okay, well, this has been so fun. I feel like we've literally put the world to rights. We've talked about everything today.
Yes, we have.
So thank you so much to everyone for joining us. As always, make sure that you're following us on Instagram at Females Thriving Over 30 and on our TikTok as well. We did do an interesting banana themed TikTok. Have you posted the chicken and banana
Yes.
dance? Have you? Okay. I haven't even seen that yet. So you all need to go see it. I'm going to go watch it. So yeah, there's plenty to see over there. So make sure you follow us on TikTok if you want a little bit of a taste of something different than what you see on the podcast and on our Instagram pages. But yeah, we always will be opening up guest applications for next season. We've been absolutely overwhelmed with people wanting to be a part of the podcast. So if you are interested, you're going to need to fill out a form, and then we will get back in contact with you to be able to organise that. As we organise guests for upcoming seasons. So we've got loads of exciting stuff happening on the podcast, and hopefully a live in studio recording coming up where we'll be together. So hopefully we'll have a few episodes from that as well. Exciting. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time on the podcast.
Bye.
Goodbye.